亲爱的朋友们，下面有请 HOS Financial 的 Jeff 和 Mark 给咱们介绍一下 Rent to Own 这个项目。Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to Jeff and Mark from HOS Financial.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Mark and I are excited about some new opportunities that we're presenting to a lot of investors out there, specifically this group today. So a little formal introduction. My name is Jeff Belanger, and I am the CEO and president of HOS Financial. A little background, I got my investing foot in the ground at about 2008. I've spent 25 years in business consulting, doing presentations and so forth for large executives on software enterprises. And now I quit the job and started working in real estate 100%. And I have the pleasure of being with Mark, who's also one of the principal partners. So I'll let Mark introduce himself before we continue.
Thanks, Jeff. There we go. You can see those two beautiful people there, Jeff and Mark, and I am the Chief Investment Officer, and I've been involved in real estate for about 20 years. I've done everything from rental properties to very large developments, managed multiple properties, and then, as Jeff mentioned, I look for cash flow. And so this tonight's event is going to be discussing cash flow. We're all about cash flow. Appreciation is the gift from God, but cash flow is what makes the beer flow. So, next slide. If we could get into a little bit of, as Jeff would go, what we're doing tonight.
So we want to keep this really, really simple from an introduction perspective. We're going to talk about the why, and the how of passive real estate investing in rent to own. Now, specifically, if we jump to the next slide, specifically, we want to talk about why rent to own. What's the value? Why are investors really trending towards passive, high cash flow opportunities? We're going to talk about why now. Why didn't we do it last year? Why aren't we going to do it next year? Why are we focused on doing rent to own right today? Then we're going to talk about why HOS. What do we bring to the market? And then, how do you invest? So if we jump to the next slide, I'm going to hand it over to Mark to kind of kick some stuff off.
Thanks, Jeff. So we're going to start off with discussing cash flow. As I said, for anyone who's invested in real estate, you know that cash flow is key. And I'm going to make an assumption here, and I hope I'm correct, that most of you own rental property. Because if you own rental property, you know that cash is king. So when we look at why invest in rental properties, cash flow is king. You will see all our properties will cash flow positively. And let me also say, what is cash flow? Cash flow is not paying the mortgage and the taxes. Cash flow is right here. Is after everything is done, cash flow ends up in your pocket. So that's why rent-to-own opportunities are the best for cash flow. So the second point is security. What is security? Security reduces our risk. And so for those of you that own rental property, you're going to know that when you own the home, you own the value. It's the same thing with rent-to-own. You will own the property on behalf of your client. Jeff's going to explain a little bit more about how that works, but you, as the investor, will own the property. So that's two things. You have cash in your pocket, you have security. The next part is, we're not just talking regular cash flow. Right now, the cap rates are roughly 3 to 4%. That's nothing. We're looking at 10 to 15% return on investment. So those are what I call high return on investment. And of course, the last thing, which is very unique to rent-to-own properties, is a fixed term. What do I mean by that? I mean it's about a 4-year term. On your other rental properties, you people probably just go on forever and collect the cash flow and deal with all the issues of the property. With our contracts, we have a 3 to 5 year term of which your money goes in and then you get all your money out and it's managed. If we can go to the next slide, please. So let's look at why now. Well, right now we can see, and if any of you do follow the real estate market, interest rates have increased. There is basically what I think the number one problem we're having is supply and demand. We have a shortage of homes. That's my opinion. You can go talk to the banks and stuff as well, but they will tell you we have a massive shortage of homes. So when we talked about interest rates rising and the market crashing, I think some of you know out there that that really didn't happen. Yes, we're seeing a stabilizing. So right now, I think we're seeing difficulty in finding rental properties. We're finding cash flow. So that leads me to the next thing, which is current cap rates. Some of you are investing in apartment buildings and commercial properties. You'll know that the cap rates 3, 4%? How many out there have invested where you can get 12, 15% cap rates? I have, and that's what Rent to Own will provide. So right now is a perfect opportunity to be investing in cash flow. Why? Because I bet any of you out there, find me a property in the GTA that you can rent with 25% down, making more than 3% on your money. You can't do it. And if you can, I'll give you $1,000 right now. Anyone there? Anyone here? $1,000 right here, free money. Take it. So the Rent to Own option provides you with cap rates twice that of the current market. That's why the Rent to Own market is a great investment now. So as I mentioned, we're talking about existing cash flows. And the last point that is extremely important is we are Canada-wide. We have opportunities from Vancouver right through to that lovely St. John's in Newfoundland. So I'm gonna, hopefully that explains a little bit of the why Rent to Own, the why now, and I'll leave it over to my lovely partner, Jeff, for the next part.
Let's go over to the next slide. This is my opportunity to kind of pitch why HOS, okay? We've been around for now 17, coming on 18 years. Our sole business is helping families on a path to home ownership. And we know there's a lot of different ways to get to home ownership, right? First mortgages, second mortgages, or have your parents give you lots of money. That's always a good one. That's a popular one with the younger millennial generation nowadays, right? Getting the money from mom and dad, right? But ultimately, everybody has a unique path to home ownership. We've done this now 1,100, we're coming on 1,200 times we've helped families who are being turned down by banks. Various reasons, new to the country, self-employed. Maybe they've had a bankruptcy default of some sort in the past and things have improved now, so they're great clients now, but the banks don't see it that way. So we've got years and years of experience of evaluating these clients a little bit more in depth than what a bank will traditionally do. We've done now over $458 million in real estate transactions. And I'm excited because on-time rent calculation, or our performance to collect rent, is over 96% on-time rent. And some people say, how do you do that? Want to know the secret? Skin in the game. All of our clients are providing us with additional security up front. How much? We're not talking first and last month's rent. That's old news for us. We're talking up to 5, 10, 15, even 20% of the purchase price. So Mark talked about security. How much more security than you get in having a client who's going to bring money to the deal, okay? That money gives us a net investment that's a little bit lower, right? Now, it's important that we have facilitation of these clients. They're not perfect, right? Rental collection is not the easiest game in the market, right? I like to say that if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? But our on-time rent collections, it's like getting called to the principal's office if they're late, right? We take it very strict. We have a zero tolerance policy, right? So we're managing that for you. Our program now has 95% success compared to the market of less than 70. I have an investor who came to us recently. He's now bought 7 properties from us in less than a year, okay? Prior to buying the files from us and us facilitating, his transactions were 70% also. 70% failure. And we have 95% success. Okay, next slide, please. Really what you're doing when you're talking with HOS, years of experience. If we added all our years up, my gosh, I think we must be up in the 60s and 70 years of doing this.
I have gray hair. So.
Right? You know, it's years and years, decades of work that have gone into this. And we take the client side, vetting the client to be most paramount. That's the most important part of this process. We're working with families, and it's important that we understand their full financial situation. That's what we're going to do. Now, it's a structured home ownership program, right? So it's a path. Every family gets a unique path, tailored to them, monitored by us on quarterly basis to make sure they're keeping on their path. We want them to be success. I'm going to tell you something about success with HOS. It has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with signing a contract. It is everything about exiting the program and having that family buy it from us, from you as the investor, at the end. That's our reputation. Our reputation hangs on everybody getting out successfully in a win-win strategy for client and investor. Okay? Peace of mind. There's no maintenance in a rent-to-own. And we can talk for hours about the strategies around how to manage that, but the clients are responsible for the maintenance. There's no 11 o'clock or 1 a.m. phone calls, right? Because the client is contractually held to that obligation. We're going to manage the client services for you. So collecting the rent and dealing with any issues that they do have, because things happen. Insurance claims, right? It's a great example. A furnace that breaks down in the middle of November. What do? Well, we'll help. We'll help you figure all that out, okay? We believe in a simple rule of no vacancy, because our clients have skin in the game from day one, and they're going to carry through for a 3 to 4 year rental lease term, and they're going to buy it at the end. So by knowing that up front, you get that value of a planned exit strategy. Okay? Let's go on to the next slide, please.
Okay, so you've heard basically how HOS operates and really the history and all of that, and it is so important that you realize not only will you be making money, you'll also be helping a family get a home, which is key. We have, at Christmas time, we help the family save their home. We have things called rescue files. So there's an opportunity here to make money as well as genuinely help people. So this slide here are the three ways that you can invest. We've discussed the why, rent to own. We've discussed why now. We've discussed why HOS. And now let's talk about how do you invest. There are three ways you can invest. Let's talk about the very first one, which is the elite. That elite right here is 20% plus. That means you will make 20% on your money by investing in an HOS property. What we require from you is you need to have the down payment. So let's just use a $500,000 townhouse. $500,000 townhouse, roughly you're going to need $125,000 to invest. And you'll also need to be able to get a mortgage. Those are the two key things. The elite program is our highest paying one. We don't have a lot of these. We will be offering 10 of these properties right now to you. So if you're interested, you can jump on them and you will see all the due diligence docs that Jeff was talking about. We will provide the NOAs, we'll provide the employment, we'll provide all the background information you need to make a decision on this property. So those are the two key things you need. And you will see, as Jeff said, that we have testimonials of people making 20% plus on their money. That means you'll make 20% on your invested money of about $120,000. The next one, which is the LP, we're looking at 15% ROI plus. What you need with that one is cash of $50,000 minimum, and you can invest in an LP. What the LP is you are partner with us. We, Jeff, and 58 Home have created a LP opportunity for you to invest passively where you do not have to get the mortgage. We will manage the property and you will get your 15%. And let me say, you have a preferred return. No money comes out of the property until your 15% is paid first. So that's the second one. And the last one, which is the RSP, that pays a fixed rate of 12%. If you have RRSPs and you want to participate in this opportunity, you can do so and you'll make 12%. There's no need for mortgage. You don't need cash. You just have to put your RSP. If 12% sounds good to you, then you can raise your hand and we'll be glad to listen. The only issue with that is you'll be dealing with an exempt market dealer. I know that some of you have dealt with other EMDs. So we're the same. So we have 3 opportunities of which you can participate. Of course, if you're looking at 20%, that's the one that excites you. Just remember that you need to get a mortgage and that you need to have the down payment. And we will assist you in all the other things as well. So, Jeff, why don't you take it to the next slide, please?
When it comes down to it, we're just talking about how do we take our next steps. Well, you can become, and this little link here, so everybody who's got their cell phones handy, you're gonna open that link. You're gonna point your phone, point your camera, click that link. It's gonna bring you to a little bit of a registration. And between 58 Home and us, we'll reach out to you. And we're gonna do more than just talk about rent-own again. We're gonna assess your investment preferences, right? We're gonna review your financial capacity. We know if you wanna be an elite investor, you have to be mortgageable, right? You have to be able to get a mortgage from preferably a traditional bank to get the lowest possible rates, right? We're gonna review what existing opportunities exist out there. Which ones, we've got, everything from Montreal to Kamloops, BC. I even got something in St. John's, Newfoundland, if you've always wanted to live on the water. Well, you're not gonna live there. But if you wanted to be on the water and have a property. So we've got all walks of properties from coast to coast, all right? And of course, we can recommend these vetting opportunities for you.
We're very friendly people. We're looking forward to meeting you, and we want to thank 58 Home for the opportunity for coming up here. And that QR code will take you right to our website. We look forward to meeting you, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.